We're not using the one, let them come right here, because I'm not giving up the speaker.
So good morning, everyone. I am DK Noel, Manager Communications at the CARICOM Secretariat, and it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the presentation of certificate ceremony for the CARICOM Young Professionals Program and the official launch of the CARICOM Young Professionals Network. For me, I'm really excited to be part of this program on a personal level. I've long exited the youth bracket, but it helps me to stay current. It helps me to stay up to date and to connect with you all and feed off the energy that you all provide. This past week, we saw the excitement in the room. We saw all the energy from the displays on Monday to even this morning, the excitement, the nervous energy. So that's really on a positive level. But I genuinely am passionate about what Michelle is doing with the youth program, and really I'm empowered by what you all are doing. So congratulations. And I think we could extend a round of applause to you all for your hard work over the past 4 months. Before we begin, please allow me to recognize our Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett, Ms. Alison Drayton, Assistant Secretary General for Human and Social Development. The youth program falls under her purview. His Excellency George Talbot, Guyana's Ambassador to CARICOM. We have Michelle Small-Bartley, Program Manager for Youth Development, and we have colleagues and supporters from the CARICOM Secretariat Development Partners. We have our Chef de Cabinet here also, Visor Communications, and other officials of the Secretariat. So, but last but by no means least, we have you all. You all are the stars of today's event. So we're happy to welcome you. So over the last 4 months, our young professionals, you all participated in a series of activities. They were really aimed at deepening everyone's understanding of CSME. And through this engagement, you all would have gained skills needed to deepen awareness and understanding of the CSME while advocating for greater youth involvement. So the CARICOM Young Professionals Network, which will be formally launched today, is intended to encourage greater youth participation in the decision-making processes related to CSME. To share further insight into the program, I now invite Ms. Alison Drayton, Assistant Secretary General for Human and Social Development, to expand on the program and give her thoughts and her views on the last 4 months of activities.
Thank you, DK. And let me reassure everyone, despite that very heavy introduction, my remarks will be brief and truly brief. I come from a world where when people say they're going to be brief, you can go for a cup of coffee and to the bathroom, but I promise not to do that to you. So good morning to you all and welcome, and a very big congratulations to the 23 graduates here today who have survived the last few months of the CARICOM Young Professionals Program. We know that you have survived months of deadlines, debates, and virtual marathons. And this alone, I would say, deserves a standing ovation. On my part, it is a real honor to be here today with you as we celebrate not just the end of a program, but the rise of a new generation of Caribbean leaders, resilient, confident, and ready to make things happen. We know the journey was not always smooth. There were hiccups, hurdles, and I'm very sure a few Wi-Fi wars along the way. But your perseverance, your professionalism, and your teamwork speak volumes about the kind of leadership our region needs: grounded, collaborative, and unstoppable. Through the CYPP, you have tackled real issues: regional integration, policy development, and implementation, not leadership looks like in action. And make no mistake, your work matters. As we revise the CARICOM Youth Development Action Plan, lessons from your cohort are already shaping the future. A future that empowers young people to participate meaningfully and lead boldly. So these certificates you receive today, they are not full stops. They are launch pads. Take what you have learned and run with it. in your workplaces, your communities, and across our region. Strengthen cooperation, advance the CSME, and keep the youth voice loud, informed, and impossible to ignore. Congratulations once again. And remember, this is not
Thank you, ASG Drayton. I particularly like that last part about positive disruption and to take what you've learned and run with it. So thank you very much for those very kind words. We are honored to have Guyana's ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency George Talbot, here with us today. Ambassador Talbot is an excellent example for you young professionals who may be passionate about diplomacy and a career in international affairs. His decades-long career in the Foreign Service includes extensive expertise spanning multilateralism and regional integration matters. So perhaps after the break, when we break, you all could tap into his wealth of knowledge after, if you also desire. But for now, we'll hear his official remarks on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Guyana. Let's warmly welcome Ambassador Talbot.
Good morning. Bonjour. Her Excellency Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General, Ms. Alison Drayton, Assistant Secretary General, Human and Social Development.
That side, you might have to bring the microphone.
You don't hear me?
Hear me?
Is the mic working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Very good. So I wish to acknowledge Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General, Ms. Alison Drayton, Assistant Secretary General, and you, colleagues. The brief remarks I will be deliver on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, who could not join us today, but sends his warm greetings. And I am pleased on behalf of the government and people of Guyana to bring you greetings and best wishes and a warm welcome. Those of you who have traveled to Guyana, I don't know how many of you for the first time, but I hope your stay has been fruitful, enjoyable, and that you have to extend our congratulations to you on the successful conclusion of your program of opportunity that you will have to receive certificates as a testament to your engagement. The program, of course, provides a unique opportunity for you to gain knowledge, understanding, insight into the CSME, the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, which is the flagship initiative program of the community in seeking to bring our peoples together. Guyana is very pleased to serve as the host of our community. The Secretariat is a testament to our commitment. It is interestingly located in sea level. It is kept very sensitive to the challenge of climate change. And so that is a very present occupation of our community. You would have taken note, of course, of the complex environment in which we are operating today. I mentioned the challenge of climate change, the issues surrounding the geopolitical context, the drama unfolding in our region, the issues relating to food, energy, industrial development, trade, and investment within our community. These are all elements that engage our leaders and our officials and our people. Not to mention, of course, not to forget the questions of health coming out of a pandemic, the first in our collective lifetimes, I believe. And the sense of awareness that that brought to all of us of the vital importance of health in all that we do. So I'm pleased on behalf of the government of Guyana to acknowledge the valuable experience that you would have gained and will now apply through this program. And we also wish to commend the launch of the CARICOM Young Professionals Network, which will allow you to remain engaged, both, I believe, with the Secretariat, but with each other as leaders for today and tomorrow. This 52-year-old institution has withstood many tests. Launched in 1973, as you all know, with an aim to deepen integration, to bring our peoples together, to find common cause in the face of an inhospitable world. At that time, the Cold War was still very much looming, but today we face equally dramatic challenges, and of course, our ability to respond to those challenges, we are convinced, is enhanced by our collaboration, our coordination, our foreign policy coordination, because individually we are less able to contend with the many manifold challenges that cost us. The CSME under the revised treaty was conceptualized to bring about needed deeper integration of the individual territories as a single market and economy free of restrictive barriers to the movement of goods, services, capital, skilled labor, and providing for the right of establishment on the common rules, policies, and institutions. It remains our most ambitious enterprise and one fraught with challenge, but I believe step by step. I am an eternal optimist in regard to regional integration. Step by step, we believe that we are making progress. Just at the beginning of this month, 4 of our countries took a step forward in the establishing a full free movement regime that allows for nationals of their respective countries to have permanent access to each other's territory, to live, to move freely in and out. This is an important step forward. It's the beginnings of culmination of a dream community, of truly making this single space where all CARICOM nationals have that full freedom within our countries. Guyana, of course, is watching very carefully, and we are also making the necessary consultations to hopefully join those 4 countries in the not too distant future. That would be my hope and prayer, and we will be working in that direction. So I will, with these few words, note the fact that in your potential contribution to our collective effort as a community, you have tools today through technology, even AI, properly and judiciously used, that can perhaps facilitate addressing the many challenges, that can help us to simplify our procedures, that can help us to establish a space that is truly open and free, with, of course, due attention to risks, not least in the arena of security. And we hope that you will feel committed to sharing of the wealth of your own experience and your own knowledge in these areas, these cutting edge areas of the future, to help our community to move forward. I think, in closing, the major focus of our community and the ultimate focus of all that we do as CARICOM is the people of the region. This is not just a project for officials, for heads of government, for foreign ministers and other ministers, but is ultimately a project of the people and for the people of our region. And I think, as representatives of our peoples, we have an obligation to engage them and to learn from them and to follow their own actions in advancing this common project. So with that in view, I again extend Guyana's congratulations to you all and our best wishes for your continued success in contributing to our common agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Talbot. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us to mark this milestone. So a few of the participants earlier in the week, we did some interviews with them, and we're happy to highlight Janine Shaw from Belize, who shared her insight on her experiences so far and what she hopes to accomplish from this program. So we'll hear from Janine now, and then we will move with Abike Doughty and Yannick Mendez, who will provide a brief overview of the CYP network, and we'll move towards the launch of the CYP network. So we'll now hear from Janina Shaw from Belize, that video.
Returning to the CARICOM Young Professional Program after 4 months, I'm proud to say that the work hasn't stopped. It only just begun. Through a well-planned country engagement strategy, I've been able to focus on youth advocacy, on regional integration, as well as economic empowerment, connecting young Belizeans to opportunities within the CARICOM single market and economy. From policy discussions to public awareness initiatives, my focus has been to make the CSME real and relevant, showing that regional integration isn't just a concept, it's a pathway for young professionals to build, to move, to thrive across the Caribbean. The progress so far reflects one message: youth are not just beneficiaries of integration, we are actually the architects shaping the future of the region. Having the opportunity to be once again here at the CARICOM Secretariat with other young professionals like myself, I am fortunate enough to be able to listen to their engagement plans as well and share my one. And now I am excited to go back to Belize and implement the strategic framework that has been in the making for many months.
I know. Let your men see you also shining. I now invite Abike Doughty and Yannick Mendez, who will provide a brief overview of the CYP network, and then we move into the other aspects that they'll do. So over to you, ladies.
Good morning, everyone. We recognize the protocols previously established. It is both an honor and a privilege to come before you on behalf of this dynamic and passionate group of emerging leaders from across the Caribbean. Today marks not just a presentation of a document, but the continuation of a collective journey, a journey towards a more inclusive, empowered, and sustainable future for young people in our region. We gather here under the shared vision that young professionals are not just future leaders, we are present actors, champions of development. The CARICOM Young Professional Framework and Declaration we present today is the product of months of consultation, collaboration, and most importantly, conviction. It is rooted in the voices of young people across member states, shaped by their lived experiences and driven by their aspirations. This framework is not simply a policy tool, it is a call to action.
In it, we outline strategic priorities for regional development that center youth engagement, not as a tokenistic gesture, but as a fundamental pillar of sustainable governance, economic transformation, climate resilience, and digital innovation. The declaration that accompanies this framework affirms our collective commitment to building a Caribbean where opportunity is accessible, contribution is valued, and no voice, especially that of a young person, is left unheard. As young professionals, we do not claim to have all the answers, but we bring fresh ideas, lived experience, and an unrelenting desire to be a part of the solution. What we ask for is meaningful partnership, shared responsibility, and mutual respect. So today, we invite you to listen with openness, to engage with intention, and to act with urgency. We are proud to present the CARICOM Young Professional Framework and Declaration, not as a finished product, but as a living document that reflects the spirit of collaboration and the power of youth. So, as young professionals, we are not just passive beneficiaries of regional we're not just passive beneficiaries of regional policy. We are the primary consumers, innovators, and creators of CARICOM who stand to gain or lose the most from a unified economic space. As we navigate a globalized world demanding specialized skills and dynamic career paths, the CSME offers solutions to challenges like brain drain, limited local market size, and restricted mobility. Our investment in this initiative is therefore not academic, but rooted in the desire for enhanced economic opportunity. It is profoundly practical and personal, seamless professional movement, and the collective ability to build a globally competitive Caribbean.
As part of our vision, we have 5 big ideas that we would like to suggest to advance the CSME. The first of which is a CSME Regional Youth Business Incubator, and then, of course, the soon-to-be launched CSME Navigators Network, a regional virtual job fair, and a youth startup grant and mentorship program, as well as a youth business mobility card. These ideas were selected because of their accessibility, low cost, and the fact that we thought youth would be most interested in joining in these ways.
As part of our engagement strategies, some of the young professionals undertook various engagement strategies and projects. So as part of our commitment to deepening public understanding and involvement in regional integration, the CARICOM young professionals have undertaken citizen and youth-centered outreach initiatives aimed at assessing and enhancing awareness of the CARICOM single market and economy, specifically the free movement of people. The following are pictorial examples from 4 countries whose delegates have begun implementation of their respective country engagement plans. So we find delegates from Grenada, delegates from Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Suriname who would have met with respective stakeholders in their countries to start the process of their engagement plans.
Our youth engagement strategies are grounded in empowering people, young people in particular, as partners, not spectators. We aim to create authentic, two-way spaces where youth voices shape every stage. By meeting youth where they are, physically, culturally, and digitally, we ensure relevance and resonance in all our communications. As a result, some of the engagement strategies we've chosen, which are shown on the screen now, are intended to do just that. Vox Pop interviews, radio jingles and ad spots, the use of social media and existing youth organizations, as well as feedback that will inform targeted sensitization are some of the strategies that we came up with. They may seem simple, but we believe they will be effective with our intended target audience.
The CARICOM Young Professional Network will follow a particular structure where we are still going to be guided by the CARICOM Secretariat, specifically the Directorate of Youth Development Program. It will branch off into a regional youth leadership network guided by us, who will form the coordinating committee, regional initiative lead, resource mobilization lead, information and communication lead, and an advocacy and policy brief lead. We now invite all 2025 CARICOM young professionals to stand and join us in the reading of the declaration. It is on the screen and we'll begin in 3. 1, 2, 3.
And collective resilience. We believe the strength of our region lies in our capacity to collaborate across borders, to transform challenges into opportunities, and to build societies that reflect the full promise of our shared history and humanity. As young professionals and navigators of this generation, we pledge to advance the goals of the CSME by promoting policies that empower youth mobility, entrepreneurship, and decent work, by fostering climate resilient and digitally enabled economies, and by strengthening public engagement and civic trust in the integration process. In the spirit of unity and service, we declare our intention to contribute actively to a future where every young Caribbean citizen can move, create, and thrive freely within our regional space. We declare the launch of the Caribbean Young Professionals Network and affirm our commitment to the amelioration of the opportunities available to regional citizens. We, the signatories to this declaration, stand resolute in our belief that the Caribbean's destiny is one of shared prosperity and collective progress. Together, we are the navigators of a new Caribbean horizon with one market, one people, one purpose.
You may be seated. Thank you. We will kindly ask each young professional to stand upon hearing his or her country and name and quickly move towards me to sign the declaration.
From the Bahamas, Miss Ashanta Ramsey. Ashanta is a non-communicable disease coordinator at the Ministry of Health and Wellness in the Bahamas.
From Belize, Miss Janina Chodge. Janina is a trade economist at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in Belize.
From Dominica, Mr. Cameron Joseph. Mr. Joseph is a sole proprietor and digital creative behind the company Infinity Media.
From Grenada, Mr. Kwesi Pope. Kwesi is a health promotion officer at the Ministries of Health, Mental Health, and Wellness.
Also from Grenada, we recognize and call to the floor Ms. Seville Francis. Ms. Francis is a Community Liaison Officer for the Government of Grenada's Rural Development Unit under the Basic Needs Trust Fund. Ms. Francis is a Senator and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Sport and Youth.
From Guyana, Mr. Shakon Gill. Mr. Gill is a senior producer
Also from Guyana, Ms. Tatiana Norton, who is a clerk at the Ministry of Public Works. From Jamaica, Ms. Yannick Mendez, Research and Document Officer from the Ministry of Education and Youth, Children's Affairs. Next, we have Montserrat, Mr. Doron Castle. Dawn is a systems analyst in Montserrat.
Also from Montserrat, Mr. Enver Brown. ZJB Radio in Montserrat and the Government Information Unit.
For St. Lucia, we have Ms. Kathleen Sampson, who is a research officer of the Regional Integration Unit of the Office of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia.
Also from St. Lucia, Mr. Shabazz Hercules, who is a youth officer at St. Lucia Labour Party, South Constituency Executive. Just a correction, he's a youth development worker at the Ministry of Youth and Sport.
For St. Kitts, we invite Ms. Giselle Crook, Youth Officer at the Department of Youth Empowerment.
Also from St. Kitts, Mr. Asani McDonald, Associate Attorney at Gray's Legal Chambers in St. Kitts.
For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we invite Ms. Kalisha Brown. Kalisha is an administrative officer too of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Also from St. Vincent, Miss Yafet Niles, Foreign Service Officer 1, Government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
From Suriname, Ms. Soraya Jagru. Soraya is an economic regulation and supervision specialist at the Energy Authority of Suriname.
Also from Suriname, Mr. Kelvin Koniki, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Home Affairs. From Trinidad and Tobago, Miss Abiki Doughty, International Affairs Officer at the Ministry of National Security. Ministry of Defense. And finally, from Trinidad and Tobago, Miss Brittany Peters, CARICOM Single Market and Economy Specialist at the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. Stop here.
At this point, we are reminded of the words of a fellow cohort member who a few short months ago, when asked about the meaning of her name, shared how for her name became synonymous with service to people and to others in our region.
That resonated with us as a relevant reminder that we do not take our selection into this inaugural cohort lightly. It is indicative that as a group, we too have been called to serve our countries, and in so doing, serve our region. In that regard, we declare the CARICOM Young Professional Network officially launched. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DK. You're reminding me of the excitement we had in Barbados with our young people a few weeks ago, and he's correct that I do take the time whenever I can to ensure that young people are involved in what we do, not as subjects of our discussion, but as participants in the discussion. I think it's really very important. And for all the gray hairs, I remember the days when, as a young person, I was allowed to and encouraged to participate in conversations around the table, important conversations. And in many ways, that kind of exposure resonated always, and maybe the reason why I feel it's so important for me to ensure that the space around the table is not closed, but it's open. So, Your Excellency George Talbot, Ambassador of Guyana to CARICOM, Alison Drayton, ASG Human and Social Development. We also have ASG Foreign and Community Relations, and of course, our Deputy Secretary General here as well. But most importantly, the young professionals of the Caribbean community. It is always a pleasure for me to meet with young people. It gives us energy, yes, but it reminds us of the cycle that we're in. I am recognizing you as the young persons who have been a part of this program which we organized. I'm advised that we had representation from 12 member states around the table, and we're hoping that the next time we do it, we will have everybody around the table. It's always wonderful to watch young people get together from different places and realize they're much more alike than different. And the friends you make and the collegiality you establish hopefully will carry on as you move away from this particular event. Our vision in CARICOM is one of an integrated, unified Caribbean space where our economies, our peoples, our institutions live, work, operate in harmony, where we support each other and create opportunities that improve the quality of life for everybody. The knowledge and the experience shared under this Young Professionals program were intended to align with the ongoing efforts to deepen regional cooperation and strengthen the CARICOM single market and economy, which remains our key integration objective. We have been, as a secretariat, undertaking consultations across member states, engaging stakeholders and addressing the policy and the practical dimensions of integration. These consultations have highlighted both the challenges and the possibilities of building one seamless economic space. And many times when we are trying to implement policies, regional integration policies, we stop at the challenges because the challenges that face us are often felt to be too large, too difficult to comprehend, understand, design ways to get through. And because we stop at the challenges, very often we miss the opportunities. One of the biggest challenges that we've had in implementing the regional integration framework, the project we used to call it, the lack of the ability to see what would happen when we do certain things. So we're afraid to do them, the biggest one being free movement. When we started to talk about free movement 30 years ago, in our treaty, we left it as an ideal, and we started to implement free movement of skills. And so we've built quite a beautiful framework of bureaucratic processes that surround your ability to move as skilled professionals and the various groupings of skilled persons who can move. But the underlying desire for free movement of all people remained as a secondary desire that we would want. There's a fear of too many people getting up and moving all at the same time. Well, that's not going to happen. We've not seen it happen in the past. What happens is that people move towards opportunity. And we are hoping that with the 4 countries who have moved ahead with free movement, that will demonstrate that really the fear of the unknown really is not a fear that is likely to realize in a negative. People are afraid of the security implications. Well, what's the reality? The security threats move anyway because those don't place monitor and are able to stop those when they move legally or illegally. So we're hoping that as we move ahead, the experience that we will be able to share with all member states and with our young people in particular will demonstrate that free movement is possible without it being a problem. So let us see that work. And I'm waiting for Ambassador Talbot to tell us when, where, how. The training and the exposure you have received in CSME advocacy is going to be an important part of sharing. And I'm hoping that once the information that you will see, you will be part of the machinery that eventually shares how people are moving. We hope that because of the program you've been in, that you feel equipped with the tools necessary to contribute to consultations on any of these matters, to national dialogues, and to the development and implementation of regional policy. I've heard from a couple of you that you've been developing country plans through which you can inform and mobilize audiences. And so I do expect that with your wide access to various channels of communication and media, that you will be able to reach the widest ranging and most diverse audiences in the region. As you move on from being participants to being members of the newly established CARICOM Young Professionals Network, there is scope for you to engage at the national level with the CSME focal points in your respective member states. But always remember, CARICOM is more than CSME. CSME is at the core, but there is wider cooperation and collaboration. CARIFESTA a few weeks ago was about collaboration in culture. There's a lot of business. Some of you are involved in media, art. I heard innovation and IT around the table. One I was told is a major photographer. That's a yeah. So all of those skills, experiences, areas of interest are important to the integration project. The intention is for all of you to be able to live wherever you are and work at your chosen area of work in business or in civil society, in government, and do your CARICOM related work, because member states, as a part of CARICOM, you need to feel as if when you're working at home, you're working in the region. That's the grand design, if I can put it that way. Across our region, it is clear that our young people are already driving innovation, whether in technology, in the creative industries. I've had the pleasure of meeting young people in various member states who are advocating for climate action, doing work at the community level to help their communities become more resilient. I am looking forward for this group with the range of skills, experience, and interests that I've heard around the table to really become involved at the national level, and to transform the work you do from that national level focus to the regional network focus. I am expecting to be hearing your names from time to time. Now, not only the ones who are interested in politics, because we have some of you around the table, and that's good. I was interested in that at one point myself, so I sort of know how that can be an area in which you would want to participate fully. But it is in whatever area you choose to work. I am looking forward to hearing your contribution to CARICOM, CSME, broadening the networks, engaging in the discussion. And somebody talked about disruption. Disruption is a good thing. Because if we keep doing the same thing over and over in exactly the same way and don't get a positive result, somebody has to get up and disrupt that so we can find a new way to getting the result that we need to have. So I'm not telling you to go out and break the law now. That's not at all. break the processes that keep us trapped in not finding our solutions to our problems. Those are the areas in which we need to ensure that we focus our creative attention. At the Secretariat, we remain committed to work with, work through, involve the young people. We, through our youth program, seek to nurture, to guide, to facilitate. Our youth program is not located in a silo. Our youth program is across the Secretariat, involving the other areas in which, so youth and environment, youth and agriculture, we seek not to keep that in particular in a silo, because we want to see the interests of young people integrated deeply in the work that we do across the community. And so, to the extent that we can facilitate, we can involve young people, we set out to do that. So as you move forward, we would want you to feel that you have friends not only among yourselves, but also with the staff of the Secretariat with whom you've been exchanging views, who you've been learning from, who you've been sharing your opinions with, because it is only through ongoing conversation, collaboration, that we'll be able to keep this network moving, productive, providing support as much as we can, and receiving your input as much as you are able to offer. So congratulations to each of you. I look forward to hearing more about your experiences and your achievements at home, but across the region. And maybe a few of you might want to come back here from time to time and do a few things. That's fine too. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you the very best as you move on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. I know what you said to break the processes that keep us trapped. That got a lot of smiles around the table. So obviously that's one of the takeaways that I know that they will have from your remarks among all the other topics there. So I'll now invite Tiffany Daniels. Tiffany is a very hardworking consultant who has been working with the team over the past few months. So Tiffany will now join me for the presentation of certificates. She knows the pronunciation of the names and everything more intimately and more clearly, so she will help with that. But before we do that, I invite Ms. Michelle Small-Barkley, Program Manager, Youth Development, to come to assist with delivering the first batch of certificates first week. So Michelle, you'll come forward and the certificates will be delivered.
Thank you, PK. I'd like to first call Ms. Shanta Ramsey from the Bahamas.
Moved on this way. You want to shift this way, John? So we're not in the.
I invite Ms. Kathleen Sampson.
A tree like them, like them, picking.
Also from the system, Mr. Shabazz Gertrude. We move on to St. Vincent and Grenadines. Grenadines, Ms. Felicia Brown. I'd like to invite Ms. Sampson from St. Vincent and Grenadines.
It's really obvious that I didn't really when they find truly a issue. So
How we move on to bring out Kelvin City.
That was much to bring this particular down on this morning activity. So Michelle, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to adopt the protocols that were already set. This is when I say, what a week. we have gone through a journey from our little Caribbean market to talk things debate to policy reviews. It was excellent. Yesterday was our UG walkabout and conversations. You guys really didn't just show up, but you showed out, and I'm really proud of you all. Today isn't the end of the program. It's really a launch pad for our young professional network. So think of the certificates that you have been given as a passport to possibility, a stamp for service, and leadership and CSME action across our region. Let me pause at this time to say thank you, young professionals, because without you, we would not have this program. So the success of this program really is impinged on your efforts and commitment. To our distinguished guests, Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett, to Ambassador, His Excellency Ambassador George Talbot, to Assistant Secretary General Alison Drayton and Assistant Secretary General Elizabeth Talbot and Elizabeth Solomon. I am so sorry. Okay, and our DSG, Dr. Armstrong Alexis, thank you so much. And thank you so much for believing in the power of our young people and for believing that we are actually in the hands of great leaders as we move forward. Let me also say thank you to our consultant, Tiffany Daniels. She worked hard. And to our HSC staff who assisted us. But I have to recognize two persons who this program would not be a success without them, Ryan and Antoinette. They worked tirelessly to ensure that everything was up and running. Thank you to our communications team. That team, oh my goodness. Timothy and I were corresponding odd hours of the day and night. And we were just going on and on, ensuring that things were how it was supposed to be. They all put in their best. I have to say thanks to our admin services. They're the ones who ensure that you were brought here on time and everything was in place and up and running. Our finance and travel unit, even when we had issues, they were here to address those challenges. Yes. Okay, and
will have the generator.
they took up and going. Okay. I also want to say thanks to our auxiliary staff and IIS. We definitely could not have had all of this without you. We have all been served very well by our auxiliary staff. We were fed, we were served with pride and treated with dignity. And I have to also recognize Karen. Yes. The young people loved her. Definitely. You know what is interesting? Last night, as I thought about the program, I said to myself, each of the units that came together to ensure that this program was a success, that were very small, but they always say, little but tallow, at the end of the day, we get it done. And for this collectively, I want to say thank you. Now, take this energy, guys, home with you and turn your briefs into briefings. Turn your debates that you did into dialogues and the plans that you have into programs. Build a network with intention, with resource mobilization, advocacy, communication, and policy. And let this be an unstoppable engine to advance in regional integration. And of course, you know I would not be able to end without my favorite quote to you guys. And I'm sure you can all rehearse it with me. A mind stretched will never return to its original dimension. Your minds have been stretched. Keep it stretched and stay focused, stay curious, and let us stay one Caribbean. I thank you. Congratulations. Thank you for that one.